Prior to and following the US elections, I commented around Donald Trump and the perception of him as a personality over here in Germany. Today I'm reaching out to those in Germany and Austria, the German-speaking countries here, who watch closely what's happening, and people I know are quite nervous because tomorrow there's going to be the inauguration in the US and Donald Trump is going to be president again. But does that really mean that the world is going under, as they like to explain over here in Europe? You know that I don't think so. You know that I don't believe he is the pure evil, and I believe that not even considering the political side of it, just focusing on the personality and his behavior, I believe that there is a lot to learn and that he's certainly to be taken seriously. What would I recommend? I would recommend to take the things as announced. We had this situation in the last couple of weeks that he mentioned he's going to take over the Panama Canal, maybe rename the Gulf of Mexico, make Canada the 51st state, and there was this Greenland thing. And what do people in Germany do as a reaction, and what is happening here in the media and what is in the public discussions? I think it's exactly what he intended. It's a big distraction. People get upset. They get all nervous about it. They focus on it. He is the center of attention. He is the center of media news coverage with whatever he does. And I explained it to a friend the other day. And I told him, I say, well, how do magicians work? They distract you on this side to do something on the other side. And I think that's exactly what's happening. He's distracting the world and people who he wants to distract. And while he does that, and while people are distracted, and in Germany the distraction shows as in they get upset and publicly discuss that they are offended by it and say, well, how can that actually be like this? How can one be like this, right? And why this distraction happens, serious things are happening on the other side. I recommend to keep an eye on that, to remember what he announced, what his goals are, to remember what Trump announced, how he would approach things, and taking that seriously. The question I'm asking is not a political one, because I don't want to comment that politically. I'm talking about the personality, and I'm talking as an entrepreneur. And as an entrepreneur in Germany or in Europe, I would ask myself, and I do ask myself, what are the opportunities? If Trump is really determined, as he announced, to make America first again, to put American intentions on the very top of the priority list, and to do everything in his power, and there's a lot in his power, obviously, to make that happen, what does that mean for me? What would that mean for us? How is it really going to change the environment? How is it going to change economic situations? And where is the opportunity in that? There are trading opportunities, obviously there. There are investment opportunities there. There's a lot of opportunity for change because there's massive change going to be happening. I'm sure of that. If I wanted to use the drastic explanations that are used in the media here, I would too say, yes, the world is not going to be the same a couple of weeks from now on as it is today, because there is dramatic change going to be happening. But remember, like the magicians, right? There's things happening on the one side to distract you, and then there is dramatic change happening on the other side, and that is intended, right? There are a lot of things that I can't do anything about it, and whether I like it or I dislike it, I just can't do a thing about it, but I can decide, I can choose how to react to it. And that's the same with you. You could anticipate, well, what might be happening, and then you can decide to not let yourself get distracted by what's happening on this side, and rather focus on understanding what is really the aim there, where is he heading, what is what's the goal of the change, and then anticipate what might that be as a result. How is that going to change the environment? How is that going to change things, obstacles? And then ask yourself, well, what's the opportunity for me? As a company, what's the opportunity for us? We as a nation, I would even say, as Germany, we could ask ourselves, well, what's the opportunity? If Trump is going to make the whole world be distracted by all the things he's going to do the next couple of months, and there's going to be massive interventions, I expect that, and there are going to be quite extreme reactions to it. I expect that as well. What does that mean? What is the opportunity in that? And as change is obviously coming, how could we influence change in a way that we can benefit, or that the world can benefit, right? And scaling it down to the entrepreneurial one single person position, how can I benefit from it? How does that nurture my goals? Is there an extra opportunity because this change is happening on a larger scale now? And the other thing, as you know, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. People sometimes call it that way, but I have studied him for many, many years. I've read all his books, I have seen many speeches, I've read a lot about him, and I studied the Forbes 400 list for years, and the critics and all that. And from the psychological side, as a coach, I studied his personality, his behavior, and I mentioned that quite often. And so he is a fascinating personality, quite extreme, quite unique. And I was in New York City, as you know, 2 times the last 8 weeks. And well, over there it doesn't look like the world is going under. And I went to Trump Tower. Right, and I saw, well, now it's more of a huge merchandise place, and I got myself something, and I keep that with me every day, right? It's a coin, right? I bought a merchandise article, a coin, the 45th, 47th president, right? And then it's his face, of course, on the other side. And I keep that coin with me in the pocket every day. Why do I do that? Not being a fan and not, addicted and like a kinky thing. No, as a reminder of what is possible, what one man can actually imagine and then make it become reality. Remember that Disney quote? If you can imagine it, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, you can become it. Well, that counts for Donald Trump as well. And he's a very public, very powerful example how far one's imagination can go and what can actually be achieved. And maybe we don't know what he dreamt about, but he saw himself as president of the United States once, and he became president of the United States. Well, twice, even after he lost the last election. Now he won this one again, very powerful. More than 70 million Americans voted for him. And so he dreamt of becoming that, and he became it. He's going to be the most powerful man on earth tomorrow, and that was in his mind first. And it was also that he stated that for years. His desires, his aiming for so much power for that position. So, of course, he is an example of what is possible. Whether you like him as a character, we actually don't know about his character, whether you like him as a person, whether you like his political attitude, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the personality. I'm talking about the entrepreneur, Donald Trump. I'm talking about the leader, Donald Trump, and the achiever, Donald Trump. And there's a lot to learn from that person by watching and witnessing what that person does. And so I keep this coin with me. And I must say, whether you like it or dislike it, or you even dislike that I spend a few dollars and actually it's going into his pocket, I keep that for me to remind me that that is possible. There are big things possible if they are manifested in one's mind first. And so he's a strong example, a colorful example. The next couple of months are going to be very exciting. You can get all upset about it, or we can learn from it. We can try to be part in it in a way that benefits for us, that helps ourselves. If you want to help your environment, if you want to help your companies, your community, you can do that. But it's better to use the change than try to get upset all about things that you can't do anything about it anyway. So that's why I'm mentioning this today, and tomorrow is an inauguration. And well, maybe you keep in mind what I said when you will witness the next couple days, and I will say the next couple of weeks, in especially German media coverage, how upset the nation is going to be. How upset politicians are going to be. Well, how can one possibly do that? He announced it, that he will do it, and he's going to do it because that's his personality, and that's how he trained himself and how he developed himself. And he's consequently on his way, and actually it's quite predictable. I've mentioned that before. I'm sticking with my opinion this time again. So yeah, in that aspect, I'm watching what's happening and choosing for myself what I can do, how I can deal with it, and well, do the same if you like, and enjoy the day. Yeah, and of course I had to go here. As you know, I'm, well, not a fan, but I have studied Donald Trump, and I don't mean the politician, but the entrepreneur, for many, many years. And well, these are the famous escalators. But actually, I came here 25 years ago, and I saw that, and well, the style is Trump style. It's a unique spot in the middle of Fifth Avenue. And so I had to go. You can use these escalators to come down and announce that you're going to be president. Okay? You made them famous, didn't you?